back in the day, like in the 90s and early 2000s, when Microsoft was like expanding and growing real quick, someone worked out how much wealth Bill Gates was making during that period. And in my primary school, there was like this little axiom or little allegory that was floating around. And maybe you guys have heard it. And it said, and so some kid would say like, did you know that if Bill Gates is walking along the street and like $100 bill falls out of his pocket, he makes so much per second that he's better off not fucking stopping to turn around and pick it up. He just better get to his next meeting. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Have you guys heard that or a similar like little allegory like that? Funny little story. But it made me think back then. It's like, oh, well, that's interesting. You know, thinking about wealth from a point of view of like per year, per month, per week, per day, per hour, per second, and you can calculate it out. And so same in reverse, it's like you can calculate how much you're generating per second, how much you're generating per hour. And then we've talked about that a little bit in the school, and tonight we're going to be talking about that a bit as well, because if you guys are like me, we're probably brought up with this idea of like, got to work hard, and hard work is the way to do the money. But I haven't found that to be really the case. Smart work, definitely. Persistent work, 100%. Being resilient, definitely. But the hardness, I haven't quite fathomed yet. I don't see the hard work. Who's doing hard work? Who's making money? I tell you who's doing hard work is the people who are doing labor and people who are doing heavy lifting, digging holes, doing physical hard work. And guess what? If you go and bust your ass for an hour digging a hole or laying turf or something like this, and you know what I mean, getting your hands dirty, that's great. A lot of people can also do that. And you can pay someone $20 an hour, $30 an hour to do that, and anyone can do it. So it's not the way. Good? Mm-hmm. I had this analogy. Where are the girls? Elise and Jacinta. Where the girls live, out their fucking front door, there's a building, and it used to be the McMahon building at South Bank there. Mm-hmm. And when I was a Sparky, we were doing a job on level 3, and we wired up the light that's on the outside of the building. And for years, it was like this McMahon light that lit up at nighttime, but now it's changed. But when I drove past, I lit that. Yeah. Anyway, that fucking thing was fed from level 3 in the building. We had to run the cable that day. It took half a day, me and a tradesman. And, you know, over the years, I've driven past it, and millions of people have seen this light lit up. I did the bloody thing. I got my $6 an hour, $10 an hour, but I don't get paid every time someone looks at that. It's like I did this work once, hard work, and where's my income from that now? It doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. And so we think that's hard work, and that's the way. Now, in comparison to that, I have people literally today who have been watching maybe 50 or 60 of my videos that I have behind payment gateways on the line on the internet. And I made them years ago. I don't even remember some of the stuff that's in all of the modules, some of the specific things that I might have said or joked about, or there's a funny thing that people commented on. I don't remember it, but I'm still getting paid for that. And that when I was maybe sitting here in my office with a microphone and maybe I had a little wine off to the side, it's not fucking hard work. That wasn't hard work. Different work. And so what I have come to realize, and what you guys probably realize also, is like, we are not calibrated, particularly if we're raised in the middle class, to understand what is productivity. There's a disconnect between we think what work is and what being productive is, and working hard and doing something is one thing. It's completely separate to being profitable and making money. Mm-hmm. We're gonna go through a tool. Rob, you got a link?
I have a link, just so you know. It's live on your Facebook page.
Oh, Jesus, Lordy Christ.
Gerald just mentioned it's not in the School of Mastery,
okay,
it's on your page.
We'll turn it off.
You want to turn it off?
You cheeky dogs don't get this bloody for free. How do we turn it off? Stop live stream. Join the School of Mastery. Dirty dogs. That's my bad.
That's all right.
Okay,
cool.
Can you paste the link? Robbie's got a link coming your way.
Great idea.
Good. Okay.
Perfect.
So this is called the Productivity Calibrator. And the first part at the top here is dealing in your past so that you can sort of get a grip on really what you have made per hour over your working life. And this may be a little shocker for some people. This is usually one of those things that's not like the most uplifting processes.
Yeah.
But if everything that we did was like uplifting, you might not get a result. And sometimes it's the hard truth that's like, God.
Yeah, the push you need, or
I needed to
the
hear
next
that.
step. Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to show you guys how to use it. Lifetime income. You know what this is? Lifetime income is how much income you've generated in total over your working life. So for example, if you started working like 10 years ago, which some of you are probably about right, and let's just say for average, you've made 50 grand a year for 10 years every year. And so 10 times 50, you might put 500,000. Make sense? So put lifetime income, how much you've made total, 500,000 bucks. Now on the starting year, in this case, let's put 2011. Let's say you started working in 2011. Good?
Yep.
So then what you want to do, this is pretty quick and easy. How many weeks have you worked per year on average? And so for most people, like 48. Maybe 4 weeks every year they would get holiday.
Yep.
Or so, or take it off or whatever, 48. And then how many hours per week on average? And so you might put 40 bucks. 40 hours.
Yeah.
And so boom, and you fill these out and it says, by the way, your lifetime average hourly rate is 26 bucks. And so that's the 500 grand divided into how many hours you've worked. It's $26 an hour. Make sense? And like I was saying on my Instagram story today, if you have made $26 an hour, and perhaps that's what you're at, the rate at which you're producing income now in your employment as a contractor or in your business even, if that's where you're playing, you can't just go and work harder. Because if you work harder and wring some more efficiency out of your $26 an hour worth of productivity, you might get it to 30, 35, 40. But you're like wringing the bloody thing ever tighter, and that's not it. You need to be thinking completely differently. Right? And so do that. Do your lifetime average hourly rate and figure that out. The next part here will go down and we'll say, what is your desired annual net income? And so let's say $200,000 a year. Today on my story, I said 100. I used the example of making $100,000 extra from a side hustle or from a business or from a product that you guys launch, or you might be an e-com and you might be shipping something and you want to make 100,000 a year. I tend to use lower numbers on social media because big numbers tend to like lose people on the social. For you guys, at least 200. I know that at least 200 you guys can be doing a year. And that's even some people say, God, you use such small numbers, and they say, you know, you need to be thinking bigger for these guys. And maybe I'm limiting you guys by using this, but I thought it's a number that at least 200. If you're already there, do a bigger number, do 500, whatever, do a million, wherever you're at. But I'm going to use 200 for the example. And some people tease me even that my 100 million goal is too small. They're like,
Yeah.
what a peasant are you aiming for 100 million?
Yeah.
They're like, you should be going for $1 billion.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, when I get to 100 million, I'll bump it up to $1 billion.
One step at a time.
You know, maybe it is. Maybe it's my limiting thinking.
Yes.
But 200 grand, I mean, 200 grand is that's it. And remember that when you're trying to do a $200,000 business, you got to be launching it. Most of us are launching that on the side when we get home from work. You got limited hours.
Yep.
And the 200 is to account for buffer, because whatever business you do has volatility. So like, even if you do a $200,000 a year in an early business, you guys know that some months it's like a big month, and then the next month is like a low month, and it's very volatile. And so if you just making just enough, the volatility will kill you. Our first year at Infinite Prosperity, the volatility was wild, man. And so you need to have a bigger number so that the volatility can make you not want to kill yourself on a low month. You know what I mean? So 200, we're aiming for.
Base level.
Tax rate. Let's say you were taxed at 30%. So you got to make more than 200. Let's say you got a profit margin built into that thing, and let's call that 70%. If you've got a profit margin of 30%, you got to make even more revenue. So higher profit margin's better, obviously, but let's use a 70% round number. And so when you put these numbers in, you guys can see the tool?
Yep.
It populates out here and it says now, okay, you need to make 408,000 in revenue per year to get the 200. Because you need to make 408 70% of its profit, you got 30% go out to costs, and then from that profit, 30% goes to your tax office. And so there you got your 200 at the end. So now if we're aiming for $408,000 a year, how many work days per week can you put into that?
People
Watch these
sharing
numbers.
their numbers.
Okay, cool. Great.
Cool.
Awesome. Good.
Yeah.
How many work days can you put in? 7. Some people don't do. Some people don't do
they
7.
Don't believe in that. Yeah.
They don't do 7. I mean, not just don't believe, but they're just busy. You know, people are
don't
busy.
Have time. Yep.
And so let's put 5 to be even more realistic. And then this is just on the side hustle, by the way.
Yes.
You need to do $408,000 a year from the business, not the job, not the commuting, not anything to do with your family and your social life. This is just the business. And then how many hours a day? Well,
again, side hustle.
Well, think about this. You finish work at 5, you get home at 6, you need to relax for 30 minutes, you have a shower, you have some food, you try and spend some time with a relationship. Then you get on at 7?
Got to get some time to sleep before you get up again in the morning.
Well, let's say you work from 7 until 9 at night. I don't know, like I'll put 3 hours a day? Anyway, whatever. I'm just throwing numbers out, you know. But let's use these numbers. So now it says here in the tool, this is a beautiful tool, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Oh my God. So to do your 408, that's $522 of production per working hour you need to generate. So if you're used to producing $30, $40, $50 an hour in your work, and you have a career level skill set capable of doing your $50 an hour, that same work, that same mentality is not going to get you to 500 an hour, no matter how hard you work. You'll kill yourself trying to get there. It's not going to happen. You need to be doing a certain type of work. And it's the certain type of work that we're going to address tonight. And I call it the successful 7.
Yes.
7 specific actions that you can do, and you just do those 7 things. If that's all you do, you'll do all right. If you're doing anything else, you're getting distracted. From the point of view of productivity, financial productivity is the context of this.